Ready to go? If our nation wants to reduce global warming, air pollution, and energy instability, we should invest only in the best energy options. Nuclear power isn't one of them. It is because I agree with Stanford's director of the Atmosphere and Energy Program, Mark Z. Jacobson, in the position that nuclear power isn't a power source we should push to be the leading source of electricity, that I feel compelled to affirm the resolution. Resolved. Countries ought to prohibit the production of nuclear power. For clarification in today's round, I offer the following definitions. Countries. 31 countries that have accessibility to nuclear power and contribute to the 450 power plants in operation today. Prohibit. The Oxford Dictionary defines prohibit as the act of formally forbidding something by law, rule, or other authority. Production. Production is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as the action of making or manufacturing for components or raw materials, or the process of being so manufactured, meaning that in this debate, we are strictly discussing the creation of power, not items or objects that contain radioactive qualities or anything other than the process and result in which energy is created through nuclear reactions. Nuclear power. Nuclear power is defined as electric or motive power generated by a nuclear reactor, once again, by the Oxford Dictionary. And now for one last definition for it will pertain to our criterion. Culture. Culture is defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary as the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. The highest value in today's round is deontology. Immanuel Kant, founder of deontology, states that various actions are morally wrong if they're inconsistent with the status of a person as a free and rational being, and only actions that further the status of a person as a free and rational being are morally right. Deontology is most important in today's round because when a situation involving the entirety of the globe comes to light, one must make overall development, supported by free and healthy human living, a priority. The best criterion for evaluating this resolution is cultural relativism. Cultural relativism is defined by allaboutphilosophy.org as the principle of regarding beliefs, values, and practices of a culture from the viewpoint of that culture itself. It best achieves our value because it eliminates the endless list of possibilities of what the world could be, and helps center an argument primarily around the patterns and habits of human culture as we see and have seen throughout history. Its purpose is to better predict the likelihood of an action's success, thus producing the most effective decision. In affirming the resolution, I offer the following contentions. Contention 1. Nuclear power plants are an unnecessary threat to the safety and health of life all across the globe. The most prominent recognized threat we face in nuclear power plants is the possibility of a nuclear meltdown. In a world with an ever-growing population, the potential civilian affliction count grows more and more each day if a nuclear meltdown were to occur. Belarus National Cancer Statistics predicts approximately 270,000 cancers and 93,000 fatal cancer cases were caused by the Chernobyl meltdown, as well as an additional 60,000 deaths in Russia and another 140,000 deaths in the Ukraine and Belarus over a 15-year time frame. It only takes one incident of a nuclear meltdown to detrimentally affect the surrounding environment. The Fukushima incident alone displays a terrifying scenario and one of the primary reasons for our contention. The accident led to 11,580 square miles of land contamination, consequently forcing 159,128 individuals to be evicted from their homes. The total economic loss is estimated at $500 billion by Fairwinds.org, only a year after the accident. As for the radioactive material that replaced the human inhabitants, the alkali metal cesium-137 doesn't appear to be vacating the area anytime soon due to its 30-year half-life. And with its half-life, it still requires about 10 of those half-lives for any radionuclide to disappear. And besides the destruction on land, the Fukushima disaster caused the largest discharge of radioactive material into the ocean in history. 15 months after 733,000 curies of radioactive cesium were pumped into the Pacific, 56% of all fish catches off Japan's coast were found to be contaminated. The production of nuclear power poses an unacceptable threat to life on Earth. 23 nuclear reactors of the same model used in Fukushima, the Mark I, are in operation today in the U.S. Lead spokesperson for the General Electric Hitachi branch, the nuclear power sector of General Electric, and guidance for the Mark I models, admits that there is no nuclear plant on Earth today that would have performed any differently. So would it not be ideal to have a power source that can provide the needed energy the world demands, while keeping a clean energy label and at the same time avoiding potential harm to nuclear power plants' heat? Contention 2. The energy created by power plants would be able to be matched without its presence in a safe fashion if countries were to firmly push renewable energy and focus on energy efficiency. Renewable energy avoids several dilemmas apparent for nuclear power plants by the nature of its incorporation into the global energy mix. Nuclear power is inflexible in terms of adapting to varying energy requirements within individual countries from day to day. Because of nuclear power's base load system, which requires a constant output capacity around the clock, power plants are unable to react to demand curves, unlike renewable energy systems that can adapt by simply switching the amount of machines in use on or off in terms of energy production. According to the Nuclear Energy Association, it is typically expected to take 5 to 7 years to build a nuclear unit, not including the time required for planning and licensing, and at an average price of $5 to $6 billion. Wind turbines average a construction rate of less than 1 year, while being priced at an average $3 to $4 million. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, the world winds alone could supply the equivalent of 5,800 quadrillion British thermal units of energy each year, more than 15 times the current world energy demand. Renewable energy structures such as wind farms also expand the local tax base, keep energy dollars in the local community instead of spending them to pay for coal or gas produced elsewhere. Alameda County in California, for example, collected $725,000 in property tax from wind turbine installations valued at $66 million. If it were to be embraced and supported, renewable energy would likely contribute to the world's energy supply more efficiently and productively than nuclear energy. I've shown you that nuclear power plants are an unnecessary threat to the safety and health of life across the Earth, and that the energy created by power plants could be mirrored without its presence in a safe fashion if countries firmly pushed renewable energy and focused on energy efficiency. For these reasons, we can conclude that deontology must be upheld, and confidently we can agree that countries ought to prohibit the production of nuclear power. Clearly, we must affirm the resolution. We open ourselves to the cross.